Alrighty, we're live. Thank you so much for joining me today. And yes, it is Tuesday Live. Who is excited? Who is excited? Thank you for joining me today. My name is Wendy Ologe. I am called Africa's number one parent coach. Yes, can you see me? Can you hear me? Your comments right in the comment section. I can see parents who were at the No Yelling Challenge this morning right here waiting already. Fumilayo, I see you. I see parents, 42 people already watching live, and I see you, Bell, coming live. Invite your family, your friends. It's going to be amazing. What parents who raise successful children know, and what you must know. So when you say, Coach, where are thou? I'm here. You can see me. Yes, see me, see me, see me. Let's move. Now I'm going to break this into what I call the 5 P's, or factors of raising children who can change their world. A research was made and it was found that children who actually change their world, that children who actually become successful as adults, there was something similar, right? Something similar that their parents did. Very valid research. You can go see them. But I've been able to put together from the past 7 years that I've worked as a coach, and I've been able to put together some of the things that I have seen that have worked with many parents and the things that they've had to do to actually raise children who are successful. You agree with me that yes, everything that works has something that works it. I've heard quite a number of people say, everyone else in this parenting thing. What are you saying? Must people actually parent with a strategy, with a structure? Trust me when I say parenting actually do have a manual, and you are the curriculum of that manual. Now let's break it down. The first thing that parents of successful people know that you don't know is that they have what I call the parenting advantage. Somebody help me write that in the comment section. The parenting advantage. Now, the parenting advantage, I've been able to break it into 2. Parenting role models, parenting as well. I've always said this morning while I was teaching the parents in the No Yelling Challenge, I was sharing with them that parenting is war. How you start is how you finish. Where you stop is where the next generation stops. So parenting advantage. So we'll break it down. Parenting role model. Who raised you will be a determining factor to what your child becomes. You are a product of who raised you, how you were raised, where you were raised, and what the person who raised you know. I say that again. You are the product of who raised you, how you were raised, where you were raised, and what the person who raised you know. So you can either be an advantage to your child or you become a disadvantage to them. I was sharing one time that I learned how to speak in public by my dad. My first public speaking coaching was from my father. By the time I got into the workspace, I became that person who everybody wanted to train in their facility because I had a parenting advantage from someone who raised me. And what did that do for me? When I got into the workspace, I just flew. So while my mates were trying to gather themselves together to what it is that they know and all of that, I had competence and I had confidence. So that worked hand in hand for me, and that was an advantage. I had an advantage of growing up in a system where creative writing and storytelling was a big deal. So from a child, I started writing and reading, not for competition, but for learning. My younger brother started to write at age 9 internationally. And today, he writes. All of us write. We all have authored books. Now, what had happened, we had an advantage. My dad also wrote, he wrote poems. So that, was a big deal for us. So who raised you is a determining factor. With the parenting advantage, like access to knowledge, supportive environment, can actually provide their children with strong foundation for success. Your success is actually directly proportional to the person that raised you. Now, I love how I said, if a Mark Zuckerberg is given to you as a Nigerian parent, would he have ended up being the founder of Facebook? I want you to actually think about it. If you raised Mark Zuckerberg, would he have been the founder? Would he have been this innovator he is today? I was showing the other day in the Tuesday Live that every parent, every tech giant who raised a tech giant and did the research, all their fathers had a garage. Yeah, there was a garage. You see, did their story, there was a garage system in their story. So the question is, do you have a garage? Your garage is not necessarily a physical garage. But what garage do you have to question, to support the system of raising the child? So who raises you is a determining factor to your impact journey, is a determining factor to your destiny. There's someone who would have raised you today. The truth is that your life would have taken another path. Trust me, anytime, any day. Can your children actually wake up tomorrow and say, because I was raised by you, I have an advantage? The second part is that parenting is war. Parenting is akin to a battle. Nobody succeeds in a battle without preparing for that battle before they go for it. So when the success of your child depends on the effort and dedication you put in the upbringing, your role as a parent is to fight for their future. Provide them with a platform. One of the biggest things you can give to your child is a platform, not money. Yeah. One of the biggest things that you can give to a child is a platform, not money. You don't leave money, you leave platforms. A child who has a platform will thrive 100% more than a child that you give money. I was listening to Costas Madka, the CEO of Charis, who, of course, we all know doesn't have what we call the higher education, but chairman of boards of many financial institutions today. And, he calls himself the Christian billionaire. Now, there was something he said. He said, everybody who passes through the one boy system, that's the entrepreneurship system that the Igbo people put together, never actually comes out. 99% of them succeed. 99%. Do you know why? One of the things you get in that process is not money, it's platform. So your guy finishes raising, your guy gives you a platform. The more platform you have, the more you can actually succeed as a person. Think about it. When your child becomes a child, you give birth to a child, you start your life. Some of us started life where we need to build houses for our parents, while some of us didn't have to build no house for nobody. Started from us. The war you don't fight today, your children will need to fight for it. Any war at all. So you need to ask yourself, how prepared am I? Do I really have a parenting advantage for my children, or I do not? If you're here, you're listening to me, let me see your comment in the comment section, and let me say that you have invited somebody to join us today. Run at the no yelling challenge. And if you're not at that no yelling challenge, you're on your own. Totally, completely on your own. There's so much happening in there. There's so much being opened up that you don't want to miss. And I said during the no yelling challenge that one thing is certain about trauma. Your children will repeat what you didn't prepare. Your children will repeat what you didn't prepare. And if you were that no yelling challenge, let me see your comments in the comment section. Were you there? Were you there? What happened there? What happened there? What happened there? Tell them just eclipse. So if you haven't registered for the Know Your Internet, you can still come in. We still left it open for you at 699, so you can still register and come and learn. We're not just learning strategies to tell you how to stop yelling, what to do. No, that's not what we're learning. We're learning the core. We're learning what will leave you completely a changed person. Completely a changed person. What about tips and hacks in the academy? What one of the places where you come in and say 10 ways to stop yelling? We don't do that because we know that it doesn't work. We're very interested in the process over progress, because if you pay attention to only progress, you are going to actually crumble. So that is so important. All right. If you were there and if you were not there, join us today. It is going to completely change you. Completely. Somebody said, I've been reflecting and I know change that with me. That's it. I was there. Please register. I learned about triggers. So we were teaching about triggers this morning, and I was saying how to actually deal with your trigger. It's not just to say this was no. You need to find out where it's coming from. And some of our triggers, right? Some of our triggers are so real. Please get into that class. Do not miss it for anything, right? And begin to work it through. Number two, what parents who raise successful children know that you must know. Number two is what we call the Matthew effect. The Matthew effect. It's an adaptation from Matthew chapter 25, verse 29. The Matthew effect underscores the importance of utilizing opportunities to their fullest. Opportunities not fully utilized cannot be regained. It's the emphasis on preparation and opportunity. Time and chance. The Bible says that time and chance happened to them all. It means that both preparation, which is time, and seizing opportunity, which is chance, is key for your child to become. And the Matthew effect says that to whom is actually, you have something, you will have more. Let's take a look at Matthew 25, verse 29, and see what it says. Right? He said, to everyone who has will more be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. The Matthew effect. Successful parents understand the Matthew effect. They get it. Do you know why? They see that the more they actually give to their children, the more they become. Time is not going to permit me to actually share a lot about the Matthew effect. But in the inner circle, there's a webinar that we call the skills of extra. The way to actually raise the messiahness of a child. See, all of us are called the Messiah. The problem is, it is the person who has raised you that can identify your messiahness. Don't mind us. That's an inner circle vocab. We have a lot of it. The third one is skill development. The value of acquiring skills. To raise successful children understand that it's skills that build a child, not just aggression. So impactful people offer value to their world through acquired skills. Through acquired skills. And that's how they actually impact their world. So parents must focus on developing their children's skills if you actually want them to succeed. And that's one of the things that gets them to make impact. In my book, Raising the Independent Thinking Child, if you don't have my books, you're on a long thing, you're wrong. I have the best parenting books ever, ask anywhere. In my books, Raising the Independent Thinking Child, I chronicled the story of the wise virgins. Impactful story. Now, I call it the story of what ifs and what else's. what is and what else is. Huh. What ifs and what else is. Now, when you read that story, I like that story a lot. I'm going to find it in page, let me be sure where that story is, right? In building, okay? But while we're trying to get it, all right, the skills of um, the extra. I want to share insights from this book with you today. You know, many times when we share that story, one of the things that comes to mind is the foolish virgins and the wise virgins. But is that really the story? I want us to, internalize it. Is that really the story? Is it really about righteousness and being bad? That's not true. Hmm. You know that in that story, one of the things that is very, very key, right, is that it sheds light on the fact that it's about foolishness and wisdom, not righteousness and sin. Because when you read that story, both the foolish virgin and the wise virgins, both of them were actually righteous. Do you remember? Both of them were righteous. And it is interesting to note that in this conversation, that the two of them, there's something that the wise people did more. And what was it? That's what we call the skill of extra. The skill of extra. They had extra oil. You're going to find it in the book. I think that's the first pages when it talks about faith. They have extra oil. Extra oil. The Bible said that when the wise virgins, when they said they had extra, every parent who is raising a successful person does something more, not ordinary. Somebody said they can't hear a thing. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me? Can you hear me? Please confirm. Please confirm that you can hear me. All right, great. So I just wanted to be sure. So, I was talking about the wise virgins in the biblical story, and I was trying to explain to you what exactly happened in that story. Many times we are very interested in pushing and saying, no, all you need to do is to raise children who are good. I agree with you. But if you raise an unskilled child, you missed it completely. So in that conversation, you find out that the 10 virgins, both of them were virgins. 10 of them. The world is looking for value. The world is looking for what your child can offer. You cannot become more without becoming skilled. So if your child cannot offer anything good to the world, they cannot make impact. The question you need to ask yourself today is, what can my child offer? Now, the wise virgins were called wise because they were more skilled. They remembered the extras. The foolish virgins were prepared like the wise virgins. So people say, oh, they are foolish. No, they were prepared though. Who said they didn't prepare well? That's not true. Read that scripture. They were prepared. The problem is that they did not ask the what if questions. If there were no eventuality, they would have been among the wise ones. They were called foolish because they lacked what I call the what else's or the extras. So when you're raising your children, what will make you raise impactful children are the what else's. The what else's. Everyone who was great, even in the scripture, had a what else's. Do you know you can raise a good child and also a child who is foolish? And that's what this story is about. If you read that parable carefully, you're going to see it. Now, what are the lessons from this parable? Lesson 1. How prepared is your child for the unexpected? The bridegroom didn't come back within the expected time frame. He was delayed, and the delay ultimately separates the group of virgins. Many people think that their children will have it all times, provided they are there for them. What makes the difference between a child who will do well and the one who won't is the preparation of the unexpected. If something goes wrong today, will your child still try? In the academy, in the inner circle, we say if you die today, can your children still live? And live the way that you have thought of it. How prepared are they for those eventualities that might come their way? Failure in school, struggles in businesses, marital challenges, death of a beloved one, your death, maybe, disability. How prepared? How prepared? Number 2, in that story, you will see the ability to say no. While the bridegroom was delayed, they all slumbered and slept. See, including the wise ones. Apart from being ready, the wise ones were really wise because they knew what was at stake. So at midnight, a cry was heard. Behold, the bridegroom is coming. Come out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose, trimmed their lamps, and the foolish ones said to the wise, give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out. But the wise ones answered, saying, what I'm reading for you is from this book, right? Raising the Independent Thinking Child is actually right here. And the wise ones, answered, saying, no, least there should not be enough for us and you, but go rather to those who sell and buy for yourselves. Have you actually learned that your children will need to buy for themselves? These things that we're teaching, they are not, you don't inherit it. Your children will need to build these things themselves. You can't borrow it. Oil is not transferable. Simply put, oil is not transferable. Are you raising a wise, child yet? A child who can say no. Being independent thinker is analyzing the situation you find yourself in, because they recognize if I give them this oil, the both of us would be lost. We're reading the book Boundaries in the inner circle in level 3, and we got to a point where the author was talking about the Good Samaritan. The Bible recorded that he actually did his good. He didn't need to stay there. He did what he needed to do, and he went about his business. Boundaries. There are some of the things that we teach that we have not really sat down to actually internalize. Now, a wise child is not only a good child, but a child who can think. See how we are able to look at the situation critically and decide that they are giving these people our extra. It might actually, be one thing for us. Number 3, there are actually more lessons, and I'm going to start with about number 3. Tomorrow, I'm going to share with the parents in the No Yelling Challenge, the rest of it. Your child can miss a long life opportunity for lack of preparation. And while they went to buy, because they had to go and buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding, and the door was shut. They were not ready when the opportunity came. And that's why I said skills development. They were not ready when the opportunity came. I've seen people who say, oh, my child will need to be independent now. They will let it, it all takes, when they are older. Unfortunately, the price that we pay for this might be too heavy. Time and chance happens to them all. It will happen to your child. Time here will mean the preparation chance here will mean the opportunity. More often than not, we are raising children we will only prepare at war, not before the war. And we're raising children who can conquer the war because they are not strategically prepositioned to actually prepare and conquer. So these foolish virgins started preparation when the chance came. But the wise ones was already prepared. I once met a man in his mid-40s who told me a story of how his parents raised him without independence and how he struggled. Very sad story. I usually say, you cannot cheat process, principles, or systems. You cannot cheat process, principles, or systems. If you don't do the time now, you do the time later. Either way, you do the time. Because there's always a price you pay on your parenting journey. When you pay it now or you pay it later, the choice is yours. I'm going to share the 5 other lessons from the story of the 10 virgins and learning challenge tomorrow so that we'll be able to continue. Another thing that these parents teach their children is the concept of persistence and hard work. You know, people come and say, no, children just need to be smart. They don't need hard work, they need smart work. They need both. Yeah. The Bible says, seeth a man diligent, seeth a man. Your diligence must be seen for you to be able to sit with kings. It is in this seeth that the whole comment is. Your child must be seen. Your child diligence must be visible. How visible is the diligence of your child? People meet your child and see that they are diligent enough. Or is it the concept of, oh, you know, my child is, I understand, they really do it when people are not there. There's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with it. We need to see for them to sit among kings. The concept of sitting among kings is directly proportional to the visibility. Who can kings see them? That's the question. Diligence, hard work. Hard work. Now, when we talk about diligence, we're talking about understanding problems. We're talking about strategizing efficiently. We're talking about executing plans effectively. Persistence. Impactful individuals are hard workers. Consistency, persistence, putting in the effort to achieve your goals. Parents must instill value of persistence and diligence in their children. Every child, there was a survey that said that children who succeed in school or who top the class are usually children that actually have responsibility at home. I hear you. My child is writing exam, so tier 4, my child is not going to do anything at home. You are killing the ability to actually raise someone who can make impact. Your child can actually pass exams and never be impactful. Your child can come out top of their class and never be impactful. The next one is what I call the 10,000-hour rule. The inner circle are very conversant with this. I call it the accumulative advantage. The rule of mastery. 2 steps. Rule of mastery, structured practice. The 10,000-hour rule states that mastery is achieved through 10,000 hours of practice in a specific field. Parents need to provide structured and intentional support for their children to reach mastery. Structured practice. It takes a lot of structure. It takes a lot of support for your children to achieve this. Do the math. 10,000 hours. You must create environment that facilitates mastery, whether in sport, in academics, in whatever area. What environment have you created to actually, get your children to do and participate in mastery? Mastery. How can your children master something? See, before you even talk about mastery, you need to talk about focus. Focus. Are your children really, are you raising people who are really very focused? There are too many things, and we're going to, just take it one step at a time. Now, another thing that parents who raise successful people do is that they let their children become independent. See, overparenting is a thing. Too much parental direction can actually frustrate a child and lead them to lose focus on a task. There was a study in 2021 in Stanford University. The research looked at children who were cleaning, playing, and discussing a problem. Children with parents who stepped into to provide instructions frequently displayed more difficulty regulating their emotions later. The study says that parents should take a step back in letting their children figure out how to play, how to clean, how to solve a problem. You don't let your children solve a problem. Every problem your child has is for you. It's for you. Your child cannot, you have a 6-year-old, you're choosing clothes for them to wear. It's a problem, it's overparenting. It's overparenting. Your children are not independent to take decisions. You're overparenting that child. But then, too much direct engagement. It can actually come at a cost of your child's ability to control their emotions, to control their attention, because you're not letting that child create what we call the alone advantage. The alone advantage. There is an alone advantage. If your children don't learn to be alone, you have created a problem. Children should be allowed to be bored. It's part of success, because they are able to actually make things happen in that space on their own. Sometimes remove the instructions. There's a system to it, though. Don't come to this class and say, oh, coach said we should not instruct our children. Please. There's a system to it. You need to get into the academy to actually learn what I'm teaching. And I'm sure the African parents understand exactly what I'm saying. A lot of people say that thing that you used to say. Before I wasn't in the inner circle. You used to jump and be like, what is it about the inner circle? It's a lot, though. It is a lot. Too much a lot. The alone advantage is the place of creativity. I was teaching the parents in the inner circle one morning. And if your children do not have the alone advantage, you have done them a disservice. You have done them a disservice. You're constantly in their face. You must direct. You must control. You want to be in the control bed. Now you're hearing it. Parents of successful children, they actually raise children who have an alone advantage. So you heard another one. Parenting advantage, alone advantage. Allow your children to create, to be alone is important. And part of being independent is that you need to get your children to do chores. Get them to do it themselves. If your children are not doing chores, it means someone else is doing it for them. And so they are absorbed of not only the work, but of the learning that work has to be done, and that each one of us must contribute to the betterment of the world. I say that again. If your children are not doing chores, it means that someone else is doing it for them. And so they are absorbed of not only work, but of learning that work has to be done, and that each one of us will need to contribute to the betterment of the world. The truth of the matter is that children who are raised to actually take on chores in the house end up becoming very successful employees, employer of labor, name it. By making them do chores, taking out the garbage, cooking in the house, doing their own laundry. You're making them they realize that I have to do the work of life in order to be the part of life. Children need to understand that they have to do the work of life in order to be the part of life. You know, many times people come to me and say, oh, my children are entitled. And entitled children are not created. They are raised by parents who don't know better. Entitled children are not created. They are raised. They are not born. They are raised and created by parents who do not know any better. Who do not know any better. So most times we actually get our children who just, become entitled without knowing that we have created entitled people. Another thing that this set of people tend to do is that they tend to teach their children social skills. Success is actually about social skills. There was a research in Pennsylvania State University and Duke University that tracked 700 children across the US between kindergarten and age 25. That 20-year study showed that socially competent children who could cooperate with their peers without prompting, be helpful to others, understand their feelings, resolve problems on their own were far more likely to earn a college degree and have a full-time job by age 25 more than those with limited social skills. Those with limited social skills also had a higher chance getting arrested, binge drinking, doing drugs, and applying for public housing. Is a research. This study shows that helping children develop social and emotional skills is one of the most important things you can do to prepare them for a healthy future. Social skills. Can your children navigate? You see, this isolation you do for your children is one of the worst things you are doing for them. You don't know your neighbors, children don't have to do with anybody. They don't even know, they're not even culturally intelligent. So I have a cousin who is in government, and I was, watching him recently, and I was seeing how he related with people. My mother walked into his house, and he prostrated, flat on the floor. And when we were talking, and then his boss walked in and he prostrated and he said something. He said, growing up, one of the things that we learned is to be culturally intelligent. And that's true. I know you teach us, no, it's not our culture. Very funny things we say. It's not our culture. That's not it is how we do it. How about when your child meet people that are not in that system? Do your children really study how things are done? So every year before we travel, our children give us a dossier of the culture of the place we are going to. No, I'm not entering any nation not knowing who they are and what culture they are, and how to navigate in that place. So it was my daughter who was telling me recently that, when we're going to travel to soon, that there's something that you cannot do there. I didn't know about it. We've made it a rule. You're going to the north. Go and find out what it takes to actually be able to integrate yourself in that system. See, we have learned the system of isolation is a killer. These days, we're isolating our children even more. And then we're covering it with something like, we now say things like, the days are bad. I don't want my children playing with other people. What does that even mean? The days are bad. You cannot really know what it is that, people will do. I don't want my children. Why do you think people work for C students? Why do you think so? It's Robert Kiyosaki that wrote a book, Why A Students Work for C Students and B Students work for government. Very interesting. Yeah. You isolate your children so much. In fact, today I wanted to write something on my timeline on Facebook. We brag with my children cannot speak local language. You live in a community, your children cannot speak the community, the language. What of the general one, pidgin? What can he say? No, my children cannot be speaking vernacular. Oh shit. Oh shit. My children cannot speak vernacular. Well done. Oh. Your children become so, you actually make your children a prey. You live in a place like Nigeria, and your children can't speak pidgin English, is an error. Take it from me. Total error. I was having a conversation with my Thailand where we were talking about back in a kind of time, a particular kind of environment. They mocked one of our friends. And we said to the person, are you mad? You actually go there with that kind of guy. It's an error. That means you don't know your social intelligence. Neither do you know your cultural intelligence. Teach your children how to connect, though. That is the main thing that actually puts them in the space where they actually become more successful. It's not this academics, English and maths. English and maths. I've been studying people who do not have college degrees, who are successful. And one of the things that I've been picking out from them is being socially intelligent and culturally intelligent. I've been on a trail of studying Cosmos Madoka in the recent times. Massively socially intelligent. That's what gives you an advantage. You cannot raise your child in isolation of the environment you live in. That is unwise. It is the most unwise thing you can ever give your child. Ever. People, you don't look at me and say, your children speak broken English. Like, I don't understand. Inside this Nigeria, we have a problem that cannot speak broken English. You want to speak it. Inside this same country, it must be a joke. It must be a joke. Let your children be, in fact, your children's ability to even speak their local language is always an advantage. I've said this enough. Let your children learn to socialize. This is one of the most socially awkward generation we're in. This is one of the most socially awkward generation we're raising. Have you seen the children we're raising today? They are on their phone. They don't even greet properly. They can't even ask questions. They cannot have conversations. They cannot even, you put your children at risk. They don't have situational awareness. They're not aware of what is happening around them. They don't even know what it is that is going on. You're traveling with your children, they're on tablet. Because according to you, they cannot be bored. Well done, no. They can't be bored. So they need to be on tablet to occupy them. And let me say this about screen. A few days ago, a family friend was testing the child going through therapy for autism, and they were like, they found traces of autism and all that. I said, this is screen. This child watches screen like it's cocaine. You put your children on screen. Somebody once asked me why the twins do not have phones. They are teenagers. Their mates have phone. I said, there's nothing like mates in my house. You were born you. And part of the process in this house is that you do not need the phone until you're 18. I am not giving any child a phone until they're 18. Say what you want to say. It's okay. Oh, this woman, she just a cake. The world has moved. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Oh no, the children need to actually own tablets and just O'Shea, well done. And it's the way we actually, the excuses that we actually, do it. The way we do it, we say, oh, because the children, I need them to be techy. Do you teach a tech native how to use smart, equipment? How do you think you can teach a fish how to swim? You are teaching your child who is a Gen Z and a Generation Alpha, who was born with a smartphone under their arm, how to use a smartphone. Does it make sense? Have you seen where a 2-year-old, you give them the phone when they are scrolling? What do you think is happening? They are born with tech under their arm. There's nothing to teach. I told the inner circle parent is that it is because he went to computer school and he went to go and get certificates for Microsoft typing. You think so? You think because of that your children need to learn computer? Who told you that your children need to learn computer? Scratch it. Stop raising social media savvy children. It is tech savvy. For your children to be tech savvy, they don't need to be on Instagram. They don't need to be on Facebook. They don't need to be on WhatsApp. My children are extremely tech savvy. Most of the slides that I use when they are on holiday, they're the ones that create it. Canva and all of that. So because you went to computer school, so in your mind, your children will need to learn. You say, no, they need to learn coding. Do you know that children, code like these children can learn coding anywhere. Hey, you put these children on screen back to back. Today we're dealing with screen autism. I said many years ago that the smartphone is not for children below the age of 18. I remember one of the very big parent coaches in the world came out to say, no smartphone once the children turned 13, she gave them smartphone. I saw her video this year. I always say that the chicken will always come home to roast. 5 years down the line, she said she made a mistake by giving her 12-year-old a smartphone. So you raise socially awkward children. They can use social media, they can twerk, TikTok, everywhere. I said that the most produced thing in Nigeria today is TikTok content. Dance video. And what's the other one? What's the other one that you do? Skits. That's our industry. That's our production system. The world is we're using the things that the world is giving us. Look at us. I'm streaming on StreamYard. You can hear me from all over the world. What is our children doing? You're on TikTok twerking. And we are clapping. Social media savvy children. No, I want my children to be able to use tech. Well done. Well done. And right now, she comes out to say, she had to collect phone from her children. She made a mistake giving them phone at 12. Give them phone, let them press well. When you're done, we'll deal with screen autism, we'll deal with lack of focus, we'll deal with lack of creativity, like we're dealing with now. What is our content product? Nothing. Because our children are not bored enough to create. They are not alone enough to create. Stop feeding your children with the things that are wrong. Stop killing your children. We need people who can add to their world, not people who will do nothing. Not people who will do nothing. I'm telling you, Cody, the chicken always knows the way home. There is always, I say, there is always something that you are doing that more knowledge will help you. Now we're having children, all sorts of videos, all sorts of social media. We're not even on the kind of social media they are on, tender, trendy, all sorts. Or even gender confusion. We're even having more gender confusion issues more than ever. In June, we do sex educate like a pro now. It's coming soon. Most of your children do not know who they are. Do not know who they are. We are raising consumers instead of raising producers. Our children are consuming content when we should teach them how to create. But how do they create when we have not given them the platform to be alone, the platform to actually create an alone advantage, the platform to be bored? You don't want your children to be bored. You want them to have activity all through. And that's what is wrong with us in our generation. We're having activity and we don't know who we are. We are covered with activities. We go to church Monday to Friday. We go to the mosque every day. We are going everywhere, religion. Because we're at work, working. What are we trying to do? We're trying to mask who we are. You can't find us. Activities. Activities. Somebody is asking, I have an 8-year-old, and I noticed that she gets calm when I put screen in front of her. You are killing her ability to actually think. Please take that screen and throw it away. And if there is anything, phone is part of this thing. Phone is part of the screen. So don't say, oh no, we're not, they just watch on TV. TV, oh, phone, no, tablet, oh. You're doing your children a disservice. We give our children phones so that they will become parents. Phones are not parents. Phones are not parents. Yes, Mrs. Notch, oversubscribed, overbooked, volunteered, busy at the level. We're busy, we're running away from ourselves. And that's what we're doing. We're creating another generation who will even run away from themselves even more. And we say, it is what works for me. It works for me. So therefore, at the detriment of your child, and your children are battling with screen. Are we talking the effect of the screen on the brain? Are we talking the sexual exposures? Are we talking about the social connection and taking them away from? Some of the children see people now, they just look at them. They can't talk, they can't communicate, they can't converse, they don't understand what should be. And then we just just say, no, this thing we're saying, it doesn't really matter. The chicken always knows the way home. Like Koji will say, the chicken knows it will come home to roast. The chips are down. See the number of visual impairments. Thank you, Dr. Agnes. We have a mess, a total mess. And we're still arguing whether we need to learn parenting or not. Are we joking? What do you say? No, what are you saying? This one, that one. It's not like that. It does not work for me. What are you talking about? About something that is working for you or not working for you? It is what is good for the child we're talking about. It's not about you. It's not about you. Too many things that we can see glaringly, these children are going to suffer. But of course, you want to consider that somebody says it's not easy. It's not easy, it's not a parenting plan. No. It's not easy, it's not a parenting plan. Yeah, we have made it king cocaine. Most of our children are on digital cocaine. Digital cocaine. How do you feel helpless with screen? How do you babysit with screen? Sometimes I'm in the plane and you see a mother or a father talking with the child, and the next thing they do is just give them one phone. They give them. Killing the brain of this generation. And then tomorrow we're going to say, the children are not listening. And that's in one place. How can they stay in one place? You have activated the part of the brain where hypersensitivity can be on a break. So they are hypervigilant, they are hypersensitive. You're raising people whose whole hormone is on fire. And then they can't sit there. My child cannot sit there in one place. How can they sit there in one place? How? And I'll tell you now, this is what is going to happen in years to come. I remember when I started shouting about screen 6 years ago, and I started talking about screen autism 6 years ago. Today, that's going to play visibly. Visibly. Our children, you see children who can eat, just give them the phone. You don't think something is wrong. Your child is controlled by the phone, and you don't think that something is wrong. You're going on to say, what are they saying? That they just want to collect our money. That's why they want us to come and learn parenting. Joking. Like, is that a joke? Is that really a joke? When I hear things like that, I'm like, are you guys really, is it really a conversation? Our production level is almost zero. Almost zero. We are raising consumers. We'd rather buy chairman pizza of 20,000 than register our child in an academy. We would rather do photo shoots, 100,000, than pay 100,000 to join the inner circle. Because we do not want to hold ourselves accountable. We want somebody to blame. We want to constantly, say that, no, it's not us. Look at our hospitals, look at children. ADHD is like water. Where are we going to? ADHD. We're having ADHD diagnosis like every minute, every second. Autism diagnosis, and parents are arguing whether they should parent rights or not. Our buying should be buying week. And people will come to say, I know they just want to collect your money. But who is collecting your money? Get into a parenting academy, you're there asking whether they want to collect your money, all this money they are collecting, all this. I don't understand. Something that will save you literally. And you're talking about how when you go to do photo shoot, you don't pay money. Did we get to the point where we are people that just want instant gratification so much that we actually major in minor and minor in major? Major in minor and minor in major. We'd rather use money to buy things. Child is doing birthday. The gift will be things that, let's just make sure that, let's show them. Instead of things that will critically help a child. See children. Everybody is a skit maker. See TikTok. If you are not paid, I am paid. When I see the Nigerian child, I am paid. Because we are just sitting down and catching fun at the expense of our children. Catching fun. They collected your money. Well, you don't pay for DSTV, they don't collect your money. I don't get who did this to us. Ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is death. I'm going through TikTok. I can't even stand it. I'm celebrating nonsense. Mundane things that will never build any child. When we are going while the rest of the world will invent it. Shane was the other day we saw video trending of what Chinese children are doing in kindergarten. They will rule our children. People say, oh, there is no manual. It is the language of people who do not know that there are people already strategically placing kings who will rule over your children and they will be slaves to them. Is it that you're raising a king or you're raising a slave? And the interesting thing, there will be slaves who will serve. See, the kind of colonization we're going to have in the next few years, it's going to be a colonization by choice. I mean, you agree that you need to be colonized because we do not have any other choice. We don't have it. We don't have any other choice. Because our children are doing things that will keep them perpetually under the table of kings, not on their table. Not on their table. So we're going to be colonized. You know this colonization. What do you think the Japa system is about? What do you think it's about? People have set systems. And they're arguing, there's no matter in this parenting. They should not disturbing us. No matter, and we're losing our children daily. If you don't learn to do the work now, the children always know back, know where the home is. They will come back. Go and the real people who actually own these tech things, these tech devices, they don't consume it. It's not for consumption at their level. They are producers. They leverage on it. So that's what is happening. if you do not position your children today, they will never have the platform to sit with things on the table. Never. They will perpetually become slaves. The conversation we are having is, hey, don't beat the child. You don't beat the child. Spend the mother about the child. If you don't spoil the child and beat the child will be useless. The child will be stupid. That's the conversation we are having. That's where we still are. When we're talking about the child, oh, the child, yeah, the child needs to be good. We need to actually, it's about foolishness and wisdom. We are raising more foolish people than wise people. And yet, your children can be righteous and be foolish. Quote me anyway. So our focus here, my children need to be good, they need to be obedient. And we've used it to make a mess of the process of the people we're parenting. And children who cannot do anything in the name of, no, they're obedient, they are good, and they can pass English and maths. You see the people that our children are going to compete with in the next 10, 20 years. And you are arguing. You are arguing. You want to argue whether you should take a parenting class to know what to do or not. This class is free. It's 258 people watching. That's to show you how much that we don't take this thing seriously. It's interesting. But most of us will do series and watch series back to back and finish it. It just shows. It just shows in how we major in minor and minor in major. The choice is yours. And I think I've spoken enough today. Enough is enough. The word is enough for the wife. Whatever it is that you want to do, do. But just know that the price you're paying, anything you're paying today, right? We need to pay. See, the truth is, when I hear some parents argue, actually my brother are spoiled. In Nigeria is still better. The competition, people that have gone so far, you are there comparing. In America, posted something about the kind of certificates we turn out. Somebody said, even in America, they don't know how to speak English. Lord, it's a comparison for me. How do you even say these things? You compare people that have. How do we match? How do we match these things? Like, how do you do it? How do you do it? The cycle we are even repeating is even worse. You wake up and just decide that these people, they don't raise their children well. It is you that are raising your children well in Nigeria. I'm still looking at it. I can't find the comparison. Is it that we are delusional? Or is it that we just, it is that way we say we turned out okay? It's delusional to say that we turned out okay. Today at the New Year Challenge, I was trying to share some things, and some people were in shock. The things we don't know are plenty. And then we are happy with people. They say, oh, we must not do it like that. After all, they cannot speak English. Who do us this thing? Who do us this thing? Who? I'm going to stop here. I'm actually ranting. And I think I'm done ranting for the day. Go and get the books. Start your parenting journey. Do things differently. We're currently on the No Yelling Challenge. Join that No Yelling Challenge now. Join and begin to learn. Leave Korean movie. Can you watch for 1 hour? But you will watch Korean movie for 10 hours. Back to back. Back to back. You watch and watch and watch and watch. Low level conversation, really. Low level conversation. We're having conversations that don't make sense online. You go from this person who divorced to another person who just jump from one mundane thing to another. Nothing concrete, nothing put together. We're taking photo shoots, mini me picture. So that people will just say, our will soon finish. And when it finishes, when we're going to get the remaining we will say, we will not have to say in the next 10 years as it were. As it were. Let's come out from our delusion of own everywhere and come and do the work. Right? Get these books. You can get copies in Amazon. You can also get copies from our distributors in Lagos, in Nigeria. We have distributors in the UK, in Canada, and I think a few African countries, Cameroon. So you can just reach out to us with that number on your screen and then put it out there. Yes, so our time will soon finish. Get this book. I share insight from there. Register for the No Yelling Challenge. Come and learn. Stop the excuses. They won't profit us. All right. Let's let's have this and actually really do things differently. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I mean, it's not just it. You hear, wow, wow, wow. Conversation we should have, like people that are intelligent. You hear, oh, wow, wow, woo. Sometimes I go to, very, well noted, people in the world under their comments. I see Nigerians talking, everything is a joke to us. So when our hour finish, then we will come back to actually come to it. I am going, and it is end of Tuesday rant because I do not think that this is Tuesday life anymore. Tuesday rant. I am welcome. Thank you so much. Join the inner circle. Join today. Unfortunately, we're no longer even asking you whether you need. Every parent need to learn. Every parent. There is no exception. Whether you've been parenting for 10 years, you've been parenting, I know it all. Because that's the thing that we really say. I know it all. They're collecting our money. Why is coach collecting our money? I don't understand. When you pay for photo shoots, they don't collect your money. I think they give you for free. You're going to learn something that will change your life. You are there arguing whether they will collect your money or they not collect. I don't understand. I will not use data to stream the live stream. Or you think we are afraid of collecting money? You will pay because we will give you value. Come and learn something that will change the life of your generation from making things, saying things that don't even make sense. Bye. See you everybody on No Yelling Challenge tomorrow. Make sure that you get in there. See you and have an amazing day.